Hello, this is Adrienne, and so glad to be connecting with you again today. All right, so we're on to day 6, just moving right through everything as we are recreating our world, doing our Reiki Healing Circle and bringing forth other different rays that will help work with us. And, really shifting, a lot of, I think, how we move through life has to do with our perception and being able to raise that to a higher conscious intention. So, looking at the situation that's happening, instead of something, dying, something attacking, something is wrong, we're just shifting more into looking at all viruses throughout time. Really, their job in the universe is to help us to evolve. And so today we're really looking at opening and coming into our awakened consciousness, our energy of awakening. So let's begin by just centering ourselves and just breathing in and breathing out, expanding into the wisdom of the conscious heart. That threefold flame in our heart center, just really getting centered there. And let's get nice and strong and grounded, knowing that we are infinitely strong and wise, loving. We have all that we need at all times to move through this and to do it gracefully. So imagine that from the pelvic area down, from the hips down, either tree roots going into the earth, a waterfall going down to the heart of the earth, or rays of light going down into the earth. And just feeling that energy. And sinking all the way down into the heart of the planet. Just feeling how relaxing it is. Down in the center of the earth. Dropping beneath all the human effluvia, discord, the collective consciousness, any fear, any viral energy, just dropping down and connecting to this really safe, loving, luminescent cave of light that's filled with this cosmic fire energy of the center of the earth, this energy of being almost like in a womb of creation. Just how comfortable it is, and that quietude. Just allowing the earth just to begin to start absorbing any negativity, fear, discord, human effluvia, any pains in your body, any anxieties, any concerns, any financial issues, health issues, concerns about those in your life, about the earth. Just feeling how much your mind might have been spinning, your emotions might have been spinning, all drift into the earth. Like let the earth just absorb it, almost like a sponge, just pulling it right out of your body. Knowing that the earth is a great compost. It composts all of our stuff super well. It actually thrives on what we give back to it, whether it's, physical things or emotional things or mental things or spiritual things. We're very co-creative with the earth, and it's just dropping down. And the earth is like, yeah, I can handle that. I can do that. It's fuel for my fire. And now joining us as we're in this center of the earth, this luminescent cosmic fire cave of light, there's a group of angels joining us, and they have a very high vibration to them. They're like this, like angels of light. There's different types of angels, and these are showing up as angels of light. They also have a kind of a Pleiadian type energy to them. So they might be angelic star angels, meaning that they have an angelic nature, but they also have a star nature, which we call an angelic star being. You yourself might be one. I'm just letting these beautiful angelic star beings, and they're sending us sound tones, sound frequencies that have a harmony to them, a harmonious flow. And they're harmonizing first, they're harmonizing our mental body. If you're audible, if you have a clairaudient, you might almost notice or hear or sense these frequencies of like these sound frequencies coming in and making some adjustments in our mental body, harmonizing our mental body. Clearing out any of the overactive gallbladder energy, that gallbladder point on the back of the head that will sometimes cause in the Chinese elements, it's like an evil wind. It's where the gallbladder gets overactive and it causes your mental body to be overactive and to get caught up in this tornado of like thoughts that aren't really helpful. They're more, harmful versus helpful. So we're just allowing that energy to be calming down. Just breathing into the liver gallbladder area right there on the lower right side of your rib cage. And you might even just want to tap there a little bit, just tapping out any excess energy, excess fire. You might want to tap on the back of your head. Just sort of tap around the back of your head. Tapping around that acupuncture point and just resetting it. Letting go of any excessive thoughts. Just taking a deep breath and notice if you can breathe a little deeper. If your breath drops out of your upper chest and goes down a little deeper into your lower abdomen. And just noticing your mind, if what your mind might be afraid of. And one of the first things that shows up in our collective group is we're in this quantum prayer field and we're working with great Center Sun angels and sealing this quantum prayer field with the all-consuming violet transmuting flame, ruby flame of divine peace, cosmic Christ flame of divine grace, sealing this energy, coming into this one heart breath with your own higher presence. Just imagine your higher presence, your God self, your I am presence, your cosmic Christ presence, divine presence, whatever word you want to use, universal self, call it down to literally stand before you. Leaning in with your left shoulder, coming into this one heart breath. And as you're just breathing into it, just feeling yourself in this tender embrace, just feeling held in this energy. And saying to your own higher presence, I choose you above all else. I choose you above all else, making that bonding between you and your own higher presence. Because oftentimes what we do when we're a child is that when we come into the world, we'll start looking to a parent to bond to, or a sibling, or a family member, or somebody that's around us, right? And we'll want to bond to them as a sense of security. But the minute we do that, we start giving our power away. And then we also allow for projections. And so let's go ahead and clean that up a little bit, because that's going to help us to clean up some of the thought forms as well. So now that you're in this one heart breath, what we want to do is we want to connect now to your infant self. So imagine there's like this infinity symbol, this figure 8 between you and your infant self, the part of you that's just being born into the world. And there's already probably projections being, placed on you. You're a girl, you're a boy, you're this, you're that, you will grow up and be this, or, there's too much chaos in the environment, or we can't afford you, or we need you to be our savior. I mean, there's just so many things that happen, right? So tuning into your infant self, the one just coming into the world, and knowing that all parts of you have a right to be heard. I just want you to listen to your infant self. Just listen to its perception. coming into the world, and some things about it might be kind of pleasant, that, hey, I made the journey and I'm here. You obviously are probably pretty connected to your own divinity at that point. But you might also be noticing in the sphere of influence around you if there's any other things going on in your birthing situation, or from your parents or family members, or even just from the world, the collective itself. And so just breathing in. Again, just listening to all parts of yourself from the infant part of you. And you can have more than one emotion. You might be really happy to be here, but also a little scared. And allow yourself to just come into this one heart breath. And so now it's your higher presence and your present moment self and your infant self. And in this trinity of energy, we're just breathing your infant self right into the one heart breath of your higher presence and creation. And just feeling that bonding, that really the true bonding is always going to be inside yourself, nothing external. And I'm not saying not to have healthy bonding with things, but your primary bonding is between you and your inner presence. You always want to start there. And that's going to be the reference point. If you start outside of yourself, then that person's self-esteem, that person's value system, that person's thought forms, consciousness, lineage, then sort of dominates your energy field. But if you bond from your inside, your own higher presence, which is funding you being here anyway, then you've got this much healthier, more constructive, and aligned consciousness that you're working with. And then when you are with people, you'll have a better sense of self, and you won't have a tendency to give your power away or to connect into codependency, woundology, exchange pain bodies, overly empath, all those things, conditional love, all that stuff. So it just cleans that up from the beginning. So just feeling how comfortable and grateful your infant self may feel that, I'm just already ahead. I'm already bonded to my own higher presence. Now, the cool thing about this kind of work, whether you understand it or don't, that's perfectly fine. It's working anyway. We've got a lot of beings helping us out and your own higher self. But from the present moment, we can go back in time, because there's no time and space in the quantum field. We can go back to that infant self. We can rewrite something. We can reconnect something that's positive. And then as it streamlines up through your memory patterns to the present moment, it will actually start to create a new future. So from the present moment, we can heal the past and recreate our future. And that's what we're doing now. And we're going to go through ages, the infant up to about 5 years old, because those are very primary years. So breathing in now, and as that infant self feels held in that one heart breath and is bonded to its own presence, now we're going to go to the 1-year-old. You've been on the planet for about 1 year now. And tune into that 1-year-old self. And again, at first, we just want to listen to it. All parts have a right to be heard, and it's fascinating to listen to yourself at each age, what maybe you've learned and what's going on. So at 1-year-old, what are you starting to notice now? How does that 1-year-old feel about being in the world and what it's been experiencing? About things. It's okay. And now from the one heart breath you're in with your own divine presence, we're going to invite that 1-year-old just to be held in this vortex, this tender embrace with your higher presence and the one heart breath with the heart of creation. And really knowing your true value, not the superficial value that we think we have in the world, what we do for others and that kind of thing, or what they do for us, but more so your inherent value, the value that is coming from your divine presence. from source energy, from the heart of all creation, you have some invaluable traits that you really couldn't put money on it, you know? And so just noticing as we keep breathing each of these parts of ourself, almost like a soul retrieval, we're breathing each of these parts of ourself back to us, allowing it to be held in this tender embrace, gaining all the soul's wisdom from your infant self and your 1-year-old self and what you've learned into your soul's wisdom, so that we open up to that field of unconditional love and acceptance, gaining that soul's wisdom, which now starts to shift our neuroemotional pathways, how we see the world around us, how we see ourselves. So once we take this energy that usually is stored in the belly and we breathe into it and we're just present to it, it'll unravel. And as it comes up into our heart, we start to gain our soul's wisdom, which allows us passion and unconditional love for ourselves and others. And then once that soul wisdom is gained, it goes up to the mental body, starts rearranging neuroemotional pathways with this new wisdom and letting go of old stuff. And you literally start seeing opportunities and miracles and seeing the world differently, seeing things that you don't want in your life any longer and seeing things that you do want that's more beneficial. So it's good. Okay, now coming into the 2-year-old self, just breathing in. And again, just listening, opening with compassion, and that all parts of you have a right to be heard. And just listening, how does the 2-year-old feel? What was it? What was going on for your 2-year-old? What has it already experienced now? You might notice the 2-year-old starting to perceive a little bit more, starting to pick up on more of the family dynamics that are going on around you. Notice if that's okay, if it feels loving and supportive, if it feels confusing or a little scary, just notice. And again, it can feel more than one thing. And so as we're listening to this 2-year-old and just honoring it so it doesn't have to stay in our unconscious, breathing it back in, and now we are coming into that loving embrace, that tender embrace of unconditional love and acceptance with our own divine presence, and just feeling it being held in this vortex, this cocoon of light, how safe, unconditionally loved and accepted it feels. It's just a relief knowing that you are eternally bonded to your own higher presence. And just allowing that to settle. Maybe tapping over your heart for a moment just to help that integrate on a heart level. Tapping over your third eye and your heart, helping the emotions, the heart, the feelings, and your perception, your understanding start integrating. Okay, now let's call forth and be present to the 4-year-old. And just listening to the feelings of the 4-year-old. Knowing all parts of me have a right to be heard, and we all deserve more and more unconditional love at all times, not less. So listening to sometimes they'll keep talking, but the infant self, the 1-year-old self, the 2-year-old self, the 3-year-old self, listening to that 3-year-old, what it has to say. Breathing in, acknowledging the 3-year-old. Again, now it's 3, it has more to say. And you might notice a shift in the emotions here. You might become more frustrated or angry at your situation. You might feel more fear. You might feel more sorrow. You might feel more other deeper love or energy coming up. But just allow whatever it is, knowing that multiple emotions and feelings are okay. And just breathe it in now. To your own higher presence, into this field of unconditional love and acceptance, this tender embrace, feeling your 3-year-old be deeply bonded and calmly connected to your own divine presence. Excuse me. Okay, and so just breathing into that energy and feeling that vortex, that warm and safe, unconditionally loving, accepting vortex of light being held in the one heart breath of your divine presence and the one heart breath of all creation. And feeling yourself getting stronger with each aspects that we're integrating, becoming whole and strong. Okay, and now going to the 4-year-old. Noticing the 4-year-old, all parts of your right to be heard, listening to the 4-year-old self. And I notice for a lot of people, between 3, 4, and 5, sometimes people will just start to feel super independent. Like at this point, they might begin realizing that they can't really, maybe they don't really, not able to. There might be trust issues, incongruent messages, things that feel like they are, you just never know what's going to happen, how people are going to react, that kind of thing. And so just noticing the 4-year-old and feeling into it. And now breathe it into the living field of unconditional love and acceptance, into this vortex, this tender embrace with your own divine presence, and into the living, the one heart breath and that living field of the heart of all creation, the heart of the universe, and just feeling yourself getting synchronized to the heart of the universe, the heartbeat of all creation, the one heartbeat of your own presence, the one heartbeat even of the earth. It's all connected. Feeling stronger and calmer, more at ease, at peace, more wise, as we're integrating and just telling each of these parts of yourself, thank you for what you've learned. Thank you for the wisdom gained, that I'm here, I'm listening, and I unconditionally love and accept you. And now coming into the 5-year-old self. Knowing all parts of you have a right to be heard, listening to this 5-year-old self. Noticing what's coming up. It's a little bit more conscious. Again, it's had more experiences. It's starting to perceive the world, making a lot of decisions about who you are, what you know about the world. Some of those decisions might be accurate, some of them might not. And this is partly helping to clean that up. So again, now breathe that 5-year-old into that one heart breath with your own divine presence, and the one heart breath with the heart of all creation in the universe. Allowing all that emotion, all that energy to come up into the heart, gaining your soul's wisdom. Really saying thank you. I'm grateful to the 5-year-old self for all it's learned, all it's experienced, all it has survived, all it has grown into. And in that energy, feeling just come into that vortex and integrate into your heart. And I'm going to go one more year. Let's go into the year of 6, just because that 6-year-old self might also have information for us in regards to what's going on collectively right now, in terms of some of our genetic lineage patterns that maybe have been passed down, maybe more directly, in this case, from our mother today. So the mother and the mother's lineage, going back 7, 8 generations, clearing through anything, any of the angers, any of the frustrations that maybe we felt about the world, and how it has not felt maybe very safe. And so breathing into that 6-year-old and just letting it talk to you. Notice the difference of what the 6-year-old has to say. With unconditional love and acceptance, we just want to hear everything that 6-year-old has to say, what it was perceiving, experiencing. And now just breathing and inviting that 6-year-old into this living vortex, this tender embrace, this one heart breath, bonding, allowing it to bond. All these parts of ourselves just really wanted something safe to bond in this world. And what we're bonding to is we're retraining ourselves to bond to our own higher presence, our divine presence, that thing that part of us that brought us into this world, that the part of us is going to take us out of this world, the part of us that's overlighting us, the part of us that knows our soul blueprint, the part of us that knows compassionate action, that has the wisdom, the strength, everything we need to move through any situation in our life, including this one, no matter what's happening. It already knows. And so the more we return back to ourselves, the more that wisdom, that awareness, that awakening happens. And then when you let it come through and take command of your life, it will start aligning things in ways you just couldn't imagine possible. So as we begin breathing in, and breathing out, begin aligning, harmonizing our energy field. And just feeling that 6-year-old feeling comforted, that we're not alone in the world, that we have this amazing higher presence governing us. And as you begin breathing into it and just rhythmically breathing in and out with your presence, I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. It usually takes 3 to 10 breaths. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out and feeling everything getting integrated as we're doing this. I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. And these angelic star beings have been sending frequencies to us the whole time we've been doing this. Sending frequencies, helping our mental body to upgrade, to be able to start perceiving things from a higher light, a higher perception, a higher truth. I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. Just how good that feels. As we're coming back into harmonic resonance with our own heart, doing a heart lock-in and feeling how your own higher presence is actually breathing you. Like when you come into a one heart breath with your divine presence, you realize all of a sudden, wow, we're breathing together, but technically it's kind of breathing me. And when I listen to my heartbeat, it's beating my heart. And so it makes it very easy for us to say, calling forth to my higher presence, my divine presence, to please come forth in my life, taking full command of all of my life, all thoughts, feelings, actions, everything that's going on, taking full command. And now as we direct into the collective consciousness, be still, calming it down, just feeling all your mind and emotions calming down from everything that's going on around you. Again, with Mary Magdalene's energy assisting us, be still. And the collective just feels it. And then sending a message to it, choose love over fear. That we're calling forth a divine awakening, a divine intervention from the spiritual hierarchy, all the different beings, calling forth the ancient Reiki masters, continuing to work with us throughout the day and while we sleep until we meet tomorrow, just continuing to help us to stabilize, balance, harmonize our energy. And as we're going to be integrating now over the next 24 hours, all these parts of ourselves, integrating that soul's wisdom, which is going to allow us to have even more information for envisioning our future. So now let's take a moment, looking about 2 years out as we now take all this information, go into our, 2 years from now to our future, calling forth our divine presence overlighting us in this moment and our future self, and just envisioning the world, not wondering what's going to happen so much is breathing into your heart, having a feeling tone of what would be most unconditionally loving for me. And so you ask the question, what's most unconditionally loving for me? And then you look at your future self from that question. That you're activating your free will, you're awakening as a conscious being. And just taking a moment to envision that. And just sealing that now, sealing that future self in the mighty flames of victory, and just taking your heart into that middle path, that magical third option that you're choosing for yourself. And trusting yourself, trusting the feelings in your heart. The feelings in your heart are coming from your higher presence, and we're just trusting that to guide us. And so now as you walk through your day, you really want to notice if it matches the feeling in your heart. And if it doesn't match it, if something feels a little off, then just don't do it. And if something feels good and you want to do it, do it. And that's how it's going to start guiding you. So we're moving from conditional love, which our emotional body and unconscious tend to mostly direct our day. And instead, we're doing a pretty profound kind of technology shift in our spirituality right now. A real big kind of parallel, a paradigm shift where we're moving into unconditional love. So instead of letting your emotions and your mind, your ego govern your day and your choices, now we're bringing back into the feeling tone, which is more on a soul level, and your own higher presence guiding you instead. And so we're just shifting frequencies of how we listen to our own inner system. So thank you for participating. Hope you join me tomorrow. If you like this station, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. You can also visit me at mywildmagic.com. That link will be on there, and share it with anybody you think it can be a benefit to. All right. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.